what's really interesting is that we think about, problems in the region potentially affecting oil. This is not in any way really at this point an energy story. This is really, I think, much more a story about the sort of new energy revolution. I mean, the Taliban potentially has access to $1 to $3 trillion worth of critical mineral endowments in Afghanistan. And I think that is sort of the big play is, can they develop this resource? How critical will this resource be for funding the Taliban? Is China looking, by recognizing the Taliban, to potentially gain control over this resource, particularly the lithium deposits there? So I think that's the really big economic story going forward is it's the critical mineral endowment in Afghanistan.
So should we be watching China? And what do you make of the outreach by the Chinese government to the Taliban? Where does that go? And what does it mean for the U.S.?
Well, what's really interesting is there was a meeting on July 28th between the Chinese foreign minister and senior Taliban officials. And we think about which government was quick to recognize the Taliban. It was China. I mean, China potentially is looking to, not only develop, lithium deposits in Afghanistan, they're looking to expand the Belt and Road Initiative to Afghanistan. And the really big question is, will this be about a bigger play on the part of China to solidify their control over the supply chain for renewables, for the critical components for, the batteries, the rechargeable batteries? So I think this is going to be the interesting story is what is China's broader strategic outreach to this government?
Well, of course, it seems to me the bottom line of this conversation is that why wouldn't China exert itself in that region more so than it's been before? And maybe that's one of the calculations that we didn't think enough about before we made the abrupt move that we seem to do.
I mean, there was some discussion, though, about China having their own internal security problems with the Uyghurs. And the question is, would they potentially fear that the Taliban could somehow embolden, this type of group in China, which is seen as a very big domestic security threat? And the Taliban has come out and essentially said, how China deals with the Uyghurs is their own internal issue. So I think China for now is looking at this saying we potentially benefit from having this relationship with the Taliban. But they will be concerned, obviously, about any instability coming over into China because of the Taliban. I think we should obviously, though, be watching the situation in Pakistan, the fact that Pakistan is a nuclear-armed nation. The Taliban has worked very closely with extremist groups there. I think from a broader security perspective, that is a very troubling relationship we need to be watching. And that is, I think, the biggest story on the security front is what happens in Pakistan now.